Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because I finally get to play with my Simon Says stamp card kit. So in this video we're going to do 10 cards using the Hello Darling April 2019 kit. So let's get started. I'm just going to kind of quickly go through the stuff that's in it, even though you've seen a plenty of unboxings, but um, I did take my own card bases, so I'm not going to be using the cardstock that they sent with the kit, other than using it for panels. I will be using my own white card bases, and those I got at, it's a big pack that I buy at Michael's, and it's 110-pound cardstock. So yeah, so here's just kind of an overview of the kit, and we'll get started with card number 1. For this card, I had to use the die. I've been dying to use this die. So my first card here, I just cut out a couple of panels using some stitched rectangle dies. And I also cut out kind of like where my focal point is going to be is the little white one, that little white panel there that I cut out with another smaller stitched rectangle die. And I wanted to use, just kind of give a little bit of interest behind the focal point. I wanted to use some of the stamps that came in it, and so I was kind of testing that out to see which pinks in my distress inks that I had that would go, and the Victorian Velvet actually matches pretty well with the pink that's in this card kit. Also, the green is the Distress Oxide. Can't remember which one it is, but I'll link it on my blog. So I cut out a whole bunch of using different pieces. So I used a white, I used the brown, I used the green, and I'm just going to start layering each section. I'm going to kind of cut out and piece it together almost like a decoupage. So I started with the white panel, and then I put the brown on top of it, and then I want the brown at the bottom of the boots, so I took the green and I cut off the bottom, placed the green down. Now I'm cutting off each one of the flowers from the floral piece and placing those on. And now I want the boot to be yellow, so I'm going to trim off all the excess from the yellow and place that over the green. And now it's almost done, but I know I want to add the brown to the top so that there's brown at the top and brown at the bottom. So that's pretty much it. It's just paper piecing. Now I'm going to add my panels, my nice pretty floral panel. And this the extra piece off of this was I used for the flowers, if you can't tell. And then I'm going to just take a little strip, and this is the back side of that floral panel. I'm going to place it across the bottom, trim those off. And I came up with all of the designs for all of my cards while I was sitting at work for the last 4 days, because I couldn't wait to get home and start playing. So I had everything all mapped out on paper, which I think you saw a little clip of when I was doing the overview in the beginning of the video. So now I'm just going to pop up my sentiment, the thinking of you, and I want to use the Nuvo drops that came in the kit. And the name of those are, you see, these are the vintage drops, super pretty. Bohemian Teal is the name. I also stamped the sentiment on the inside and put a little strip at the bottom, and that will complete that card. For card number 2, I took one of the cut aparts that came in the kit, and I wanted it to be a little bit more interesting than just a cut apart sitting on a panel. So I cut out, my base papers. I thought this yellow was really pretty yellow paper. I loved it, and I was really drawn to the brown cardstock that came in the kit, and I use it quite a bit. I was fortunate enough to have another extra piece in my stash, so I did pull out a second piece of the brown, because I really just wasn't thrilled with how the pink and the blue looked with this, so I didn't use it very much. But anyway, I ended up trimming out the center, the happy bloomin' birthday, popped up the frame around it, and then grabbed a sticker from the sticker sheet, and that will complete card number 2. For card number 3, I cut out twice from watercolor paper, again the boot, and then I glued one on top of the other. So one I cut with the precision die, and the other one I cut without. So the one on the bottom is cut without the precision die, so it's still kind of sitting inside of its, outer bits, and the other one that I cut with the precision die came apart off of that and I just layered them on top of each other. And now I'm just doing some quick watercoloring with my Zig markers. And basically I just use two colors for each section of my boots. And I tried to match up all of the colors that I used on this boot with colors from the pattern papers. So there isn't going to be like a ton of shading or anything. It's real simple, more outlining than shading, I guess. And then once you pop it out, because once I'm finished with all of this, I'll pop the whole thing out so that it'll be released from its backing, and then you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Because right now I'm just doing some very messy coloring because it doesn't need to be neat. I'm not going to be keeping that outer part. I'm not an expert colorer at all, so that's why I'm not taking my time and really explaining it, because there are so many other people out there that do a much better job than I do. But I left it in case you wanted to see, how I kind of kept it together. And I finished it with some white paint that I splattered, and that finishes that off. So now I'm going to put the card together. And for this card, I'm going to do a gatefold card. So we're just going to do a standard panel, which is the 4 1/4 by I think it's 8 1/2, and I'm gonna, each one of those is scored at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8, and then I use my bone folder to, bring the edges in. I can't remember the name of it. Burnish. There you go. Burnish the edges. And now I'm just making my panels for the front of my gatefold, and I'm using that real pretty pink backed with the brown again. And I'm going to put each one of the panels on either side of the gatefold. And I think I saw Vicky make a gatefold, and it made me want to make one. So here's my version of it. That brown strip on the edge is, I want to say it's at least an inch, but you can make it as wide as you want. But that's going to be the band it's like a belly band that's going to go around the outside of my gatefold, and it doesn't have to go all the way across, because you're going to secure it with your focal point. So I decided to take one of the strips. I used a lot of my scraps to decorate. You'll see in some of the other cards that I do that I'm not wasting any of my paper. So this is just a scrap piece, and I thought the words were real pretty on the back, so I'm just going to wrap that around. I'm going to use some strong adhesive, which for me it's the score tape, and I'm going to place my little boot right in the middle. That's my focal point. And then I've got a little sentiment right there, and the sentiment says, that's one of the sticker pieces, and it's live a little, love a lot. And I backed that on some brown cardstock as well, and then attached it right kind of off center to the boot. And I'm also going to decorate the inside, because once you open it up, I wanted there to be something pretty on the inside. So that's another one of the cut aparts, just on some brown. It says hello. And then I'm just going to mount that right in the middle. And that's what you see when you open up your card. Slide the band on. And there it is. I don't think I did anything else to it. Pretty sure that was the end of it, and I'll give you a close-up. I always put pictures at the end because the lighting's not so great in my little craft room. So I also wanted to do a background with all of the stamps that came in the stamp set, because I don't usually do a lot with stamp sets, and so this time it was like my goal was to use the stamps as much as possible. So I made this background, and I actually was kind of sad when I got done, because I love the way it came out. This background came out really cute, and then I ended up covering up dang near the whole thing. So, but this will, if you watch the process, which I sped up quite a bit, you can see just stamping off the page. I used several different greens from my stash, just to kind of differentiate between each one of the leaves that I put in there. And then there's these really cute little hearts, but they're not normal heart shapes. They're kind of elongated heart shapes. So I'm going to use those as well. And they may have actually been, I use them for a couple of different things, but they kind of reminded me of either leaves or butterfly wings. So, but they're like a really cool shape. And then I use the teeny tiny ones as well. And isn't that like a cool panel right there? That's a really cool background piece. And I'm going to cover it all up. So I'm going to set that off to the side and I'm going to work on my panel. And I stamped and fussy cut out the bike. So that's going to be my little, kind of my focal piece that goes in the middle. And I cut out a panel where my grassy hillside is going to go. And I'm going to use my makeup brushes and make some clouds in the background with my homemade stencil. You know, these makeup brushes, I don't know how the other ones work because I've never used the fancy expensive ones, but these ones are so easy to use. And these little makeup brushes I got off Amazon, they cost $8 and you get, I think there's like 6 or 7 of them, different sizes, so it's a good deal. And all you gotta do is wipe them off on a little microfiber cloth to get the ink off of it, and then you just keep going. So you don't need to have a ton of them for all your different colors. So here I'm just going to kind of speed through again. I traced where my grassy hill is going to go, and now I'm just stamping a whole bunch of flowers in the background. Now I'm just going to use just a variety. Just go through your stash and go through all of your inks and your oxides. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can use a mixture of both, and just find colors that match your kit. And then just go to town stamping some real pretty flowers in the background. I'm going to use some foam adhesive. Actually, it's fun foam, but I'm going to cut into thin strips and I'm going to put it on the back of the bicycle to pop it up. That is one of the stickers from the sticker sheet, and that one says, enjoy today. I didn't want the panel to get lost in the background, so I put the yellow sheet behind it, which basically covered up all of my stamping, but it's okay. I'm going to add some little hearts that I cut out of the wood piece, the wood strips that I cut off of the papers that they sent. I didn't let much go to waste on this paper, you'll see. Now I'm going to use my glossy accents on the wheels, the seat, and the handlebars, and that will complete this card. And there's a close-up. For card number 5, this is the cut apart, so that wood paper that I've been using quite a bit, this was the focal piece on that wood paper, so I decided to fussy cut the whole thing out, and I used the Vintage Drops in Dusty Rose, and I covered all the flowers with that. I also used my shimmer pen on the bird and the leaves, and I used glossy accents on the glass jar. And now I'm just, again, using scraps of paper, and I'm just going to kind of randomly place them around on my card base. Not randomly, I kind of wrote this down on a piece of paper somewhere, how I wanted them to be. I'm just going to line this up, and I know my panel on the top is crooked, but I will fix it. I'm just going to trim off my strip here. And I'll fix my crooked panel on the top. You know, that tape comes off way too easy. Now I'm going to pop up my focal piece right in the middle, and I'm just using fun foam for all of my popping up. And my sentiment, I did the hello there, and in the center of it, it's because it's empty in the center, I use jewel drops, the rose water jewel drops. It's got just a hint of pink in there. And there's a close-up of that one. For card number 6, I wanted to use stickers. That was another goal of mine, was to use the stickers. So for this one, I just cut out a panel, and I also cut out another strip of the wood paper. And I found these cute little heart, very country looking, brads that I'm going to put in either side to hold down my strip, my wood panel strip. And I'm going to attach that to my card base. I'm going to make a little focal centerpiece, and then I cut out from a cut apart, I cut out the heart, and I also cut out the sentiment from that same sticker, not sticker, from the same cut apart that says sending you lots of, and then there's a sticker that says love. Popped it all up on some fun foam. I'm going to take one of the little arrows and pop that right onto the heart and place that right in the middle. I popped that up as well on some fun foam. And that completes that card. This one was super simple and basically just taking a cut apart and the stickers and just making it a little bit more interesting than just a cut apart. And that's that one. For card number 7, this one kind of, again, I wanted to use cut aparts, and I also wanted to make kind of like a, I don't know if it would be a flower shop, but this to me was like an awning. I was trying to make an awning, and then the 3 pieces at the bottom are supposed to be like paneling, I guess, with pattern paper. I don't know anybody that does that, but it kind of looked cute in my head, so I did it. Then I'm going to prop my awning up right over the top of that. And my idea originally was for that coffee to be like a sign at the top, but it didn't work out. It was too big, and I didn't want to cut it down any smaller, so I ended up just placing it on some fun foam and then popping it into the middle. And I'm just going to put it kind of at an angle in the middle. And then I'm going to use some more of the sticker sheet, a couple of hearts out of that sticker sheet, and a Simply Blessed sentiment, along with the Nuvo drops that came in the kit. Also gonna fancy up the flowers a little bit with some glitter pen. Also the hearts as well. And that's gonna do it for that card. Another simple one, but again, using all of my scraps. For this one, I also, again, I wanted to use the stickers. And so when I saw that sticker sheet before we even got the kit, all I could think of was, one of those walls where um, the gallery wall. So I wanted to do a gallery wall. So this is how I laid them all out. I backed them all on the brown cardstock. And then to keep them together so that I could glue down the ones that I wanted flat against the wall, I just kind of grabbed them with some, that's the sticky tape, not sticky tape. I don't know why I can't think right now. Probably because it is 3:41 in the morning. That's why I can't think. The black sign I popped up, I did a double fun foam, and the rest are single fun foam or flat. And I made the wall, and then these are some stickers from the sticker sheet, little flowers and a little flower pot that I'm going to place right next to the black sign eventually once I figure out that's where I want it. I also put the arrow, and that's right next, it's kind of pointing to the word laughter. And then I backed it on a pink piece of the cardstock that came in the kit, and once I put it all together and I attached it to my card base, I hated it. So you'll see in the picture at the end, I ended up trimming the entire thing off and then backing it on the brown cardstock and reattaching it to another card base. So there's how it ended up after, because I hated the pink. So for card number 9, I'm going to use the big sentiment, the Hello Darling. And I got this embossing powder at a yard sale. It never even been opened, and it's all Stampin' Up. I got like 6 or 7 of them for like $1. So I wanted to use it, and that yellow goes really well with this kit. I don't think it even says what color yellow that is, but it is a Stampin' Up embossing powder. So now I'm just gonna make. I didn't cut these out with any of the dies. I just trimmed them down to where I thought they would look nice together, with like a more busy on the bottom and kind of like a wallpapery floral on the top. I'm going to take a piece of the brown, but I'm going to end up having to cut that down. So I knew I wanted to use it, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So once I created my background, I realized that the Hello Darling sentiment really didn't fit very well anywhere. So I cut it down as far as I could, as close to the sentiment as I could, and then I had a piece of the blue cardstock that's just like the outer edge from when I used my stitch rectangle dies on the blue paper. And so I decided to make a frame, like custom make a frame around the Hello Darling just to give it a little bit of something. And it actually doesn't look too bad. It looks a little weird in this lighting right here, but when you see it in person, it actually looks really cute because I'm sitting here holding it in my hand. And I just glued it around the outside. And then when I was going to put it on my card base, I realized that that was too wide, so I cut that down to a half an inch. I placed my Hello Darling first, then I cut that down to fit. So luckily I was able to pull that piece off without ruining my pattern paper, so it worked out okay. And then I'm just going to use some more stickers because, like I said, I was determined to use most of these stickers, and I took the fresh cut flowers and the boot, popped them up, that stay a while sentiment that's on the brown cardstock, and then I'm going to use the Nouveau drops and just put centers of all the flowers, and that will complete that one. And last card. On to card number 10, I cut out the floral panel to fit the whole card base, so there won't be any white peeking out of the back. I hardly ever do this. Every once in a while I do it. But I didn't want to see the white. And then I got a brown panel to go right over that because I just wanted some color peeking out around the brown panel, but I didn't want like a whole lot. And then the white panel is going to take up most of it because there's going to be a whole scene that I'm going to stamp on this. So I again took some of my wood grained paper, and you'll see that I'm down to like the last little itty bitty bits of it, but I used up every single part I could. I'm going to take the pots, and you see off to the side there that I already cut out some masks, and I'm going to use that. This is it's called Nest, and it's a Hero Arts. I got it in one of the Hero Arts kits quite a while ago, but it's kind of like a nice light brown. I'm going to cover up my pots with my masks, and I'm just using, for the masks, it's just double-sided tape on printer paper. That's all I did. I don't have any masking paper right now. I'm going to do 2 of the small pots, one on either side. And I'm going to mask those off and then just go to town. Just start stamping a whole bunch of stems and leaves and flowers all around these pots. And I left it all in. I just sped it up a lot. So the reason for the masks is because the stems are longer than the pots, and I want it to look like the flowers are coming up out of the pots and not stamped on top of the pots. So that's why I made the masks. And you can kind of see all the different inks that I used off to the side there. They're all ones that I thought looked good together, so that's why I picked them. And your stamp set comes with even the centers of the flowers, so I even stamped up the centers. And then, like I said, these hearts to me looked like butterfly wings, so I made a couple of butterflies off on the top. And one of the little single leaves looked like it could be a body, so I made it into a body. And now you can see scrounging up the very last of the wood pieces, the wood grain pieces, because I want to place them underneath all of the pots so it looks like they're all sitting on wood shelves. And then I have one long strip right there off to the side that you can see, and that's going to go right across that white area right underneath is going to have the long strip right across the whole thing. I've got a couple more stickers I'm going to use. Actually, I ended up only using one. I had 2 pulled out that I thought I was going to put on here, but I ended up only using one of them. It's the Feed and Seed is the one that I'm going to use. I'm also going to use my black gel pen, make a little trail coming down from the big butterfly. There's the Feed and Seed sticker that's going to go right at the bottom. I also added the little antennae on the butterflies with that black gel pen. Put this on my card base. I have a little heart that I cut out with the wood grain as well. I popped up my sentiment, the just a card to say hello and you're amazing. Use my black gel pen for the other butterfly trail to come out from underneath the sentiment. And put my little, I had one little heart left over from when I put the hearts on the bicycle, so I decided to use it right in the middle of the big pot. For more finishing touches, I'm going to use my glitter pen in various places. I think I used it on the pots and the butterfly wings, and my glossy accents on all the flowers. And that will complete my 10th card. And here's a close-up. So I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this 10 card video, and it gives you some different ideas on how to put together some cards with some stuff out of this kit. I used up almost everything in it, so it's a great deal. I wasn't able to do more than 10 cards, but I did have a really good time doing it. So again, I really do appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will see you again real soon with the next 10 card video. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.